That to him at the Breakfast Club about 1,000,000 times. So, And coronavirus, 100,000 people dead. And when I see these protests, I get scared because it's the black and brown community that is suffering the most from the COVID. And we out there on the ground right next to each other. Timbo the King, what's up, my brother? Timbo the King on the check-in. Charlemagne just texted me. He's getting on now. I believe him because I haven't been stiffed yet. This is the big show, baby. The biggest of shows. Cousin Miriam, what's up? Natina, I love you, sis. What's up, Natina? My mom's is on the check-in. Mom's is on the check-in. It's real now. She tells me, Joe, don't be talking about them politics like that. I said, Mommy, I ain't for sale. I don't belong to nobody. Whatever it is that's real, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Savvy Davis Jr., we got to talk about it. I'm not for sale, ma. Nobody made me. I'm self-made, ma. We got to talk about it, man. E. Philly, what's good? What's crazy is I've been seeing videos. Yo, Rich the barber. I've been seeing videos. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, if IG lets him get through.
Joe Credak. Joe.
As promised, Charlemagne the God.
Jopra.
Joke, yes it is. I'm glad you up to date with what's going on out here in these streets.
Absolutely.
I got my sneaker. I brought out the vibe. I ain't bring these out in like 15 years, but being it with journalists, I brought out the vibes.
You know what though? That's actually a great thing though, man. Because me and Nori used to talk about this all the time. We still do, but it's like inside the NBA when you got Kenny Smith and Shaquille and Charles Barkley, who know the game better than y'all?
Thank you, my brother, man. And that's exactly how I feel about it. We commentators, we grow up, in the NBA they get to play, then they get to coach, they get to commentate. Shout out to Timbo the King on the check-in.
Timbo.
And so that's what we doing. Me, I done got robbed by promoters and not got paid. I done got paid by quarters, for Fat Joe shows. I done been in favelas in Brazil, back to Africa, you name it. So I know we first hands on. Now, Charlemagne,
Wait a minute, I refuse to believe you got robbed by a promoter.
Well, not actually robbed. He said he didn't have my money, so I had to take my pay in quarters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So the man ain't have my money, so I was like, what you got? He was like, I got about 2,000 in quarters. I was like, give me the quarters, man. I need the quarters. It's crazy. Mobb Deep was mad at me. It was like 3 of us, groups. Everybody got mad at me because they was like, damn, Joe, you took all the money. I said, the money? He owed me $10,000. I had to get my money. I took it in quarters, man.
Damn.
I got to go home with this bread.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to tell me a nice Terror Squad beatdown story. That's how you had to get your money.
No. That's not what today's about. No, I'm a journalist.
Okay.
I say you the biggest hip hop journalist in the game right now. You have the biggest platform, and you're the biggest.
That means a lot. It means a lot coming from you. Thank you.
That's a fact, though. I'd be lying if I didn't. And I like to think of myself as the Dan Rathers of the 2020 of the hip hop community.
Okay.
So we're gonna have some real talk, Charlemagne.
Okay.
So Charlemagne, do you believe that Joe Biden's a racist?
I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question as if I believe Joe Biden is a racist, but I can say that he's implemented policies that have absolutely been racist. Like you can't talk about, 86 mandatory minimum sentencing bill, mandatory minimum sentencing for drug laws, or the 88 crack laws, or the 94 crime bill, without saying that they disproportionately affected black and brown people. So those policies are absolutely racist.
Let me ask you a question. So you're saying his policies are racist? You're not sure if he's a racist?
I mean, listen, he's a 78-year-old white man. I don't know. You know, it's levels to racism, right? Like, it's on a scale of 1 to get the fuck away from me, nigga. I don't think he's that. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think it's definitely some policies that he's implemented that have been absolutely racist. Especially, I think there was the 88 crack laws. He wrote that with Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was absolutely racist. I'm from South Carolina. Strom Thurmond was a Dixie crack who absolutely, you know, did not want segregation to be abolished. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't believe Joe Biden's a racist. Fat Joe does not believe Joe Biden's a racist. I do believe that if we went to 1988 Fat Joe, we would never believe he would be 2020 Fat Joe. The shit I was doing in 88 is so much different. So, like, there had to be a girl you broke her heart, some wild shit you did 20-something years ago, but we don't hold you accountable 20-something years later.
But we have to atone for that, though, and we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to grow and evolve. And I'm not saying he hasn't, but I'm saying whenever somebody brings up the 94 crime bill now, he makes excuses for it. Like he did when he was on Breakfast Club last week. Like he said that the 94 crime bill didn't cause mass incarceration. He actually said it was the 86 mandatory minimum sentencing laws. But I'm like, well, wait a minute, Joe, you were behind that too. So it's just like, that's why that was one of my questions for him. Like, why so much resistance just to say, look, that was wrong, and I'm going to implement legislation if I become president to atone for it.
Okay, so Joe Biden, there is no more Kamala. There is no more Cory Booker. There is no more Bernie. There's Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Who would you vote for? Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
I'm voting for whoever meets the demands that black people are putting in front of them.
So you would vote for Donald Trump?
I can't go that far. I'm not against voting for a conservative.
Look, yo, Charlemagne, we talking real shit, me and you.
Yeah, I mean,
you will not vote for Trump. I won't vote for Trump.
Yeah, I don't think I could vote for Trump only because he marginalizes a lot of other people. Right?
Here's the problem, Charlemagne. Right? When Donald Trump, not George Bush, not Reagan, when Donald Trump became president of the United States, the very next day, Fat Joe had trouble getting out the bed. And when I came out the building, I was at the Mandarin Oriental, I felt eerie, and I felt the storm coming, and I actually gave myself credit for having courage to walk outside that day. That's how bad I knew it would be for black and brown people. So now, next thing you know, all Mexicans are rapists, drug dealers. They put the little kids in the cages in the border. He didn't care. Charlottesville, VA, those guys, the white supremacists, killed the woman, and he said they were nice people. Now you got guys protesting in Minnesota for Big George. He calls them thugs, does a press conference today, and didn't even acknowledge what's going on in America. Obviously,
you don't have to convince me that Trump is trash. But my point is, I just votes a quid pro quo. Like, clearly, if you look around at what's going on in society, there's a lot that needs to be done in the black community, like right now, right? So if Democrats made that mistake in 2016, where they didn't lean into us the way that they should have, and they didn't make a lot of policy commitments to us the way that they should have, they really need us this year in a real way. So why can't we get some policy commitments from Joe Biden?
I think we will.
Let's get them.
We'll have Stacey Abrams.
And by the way, all we're asking for is commitments. He can't pass no legislation.
I think he has no choice but to commit. But what I'm saying to you is us. as black and brown people, you can't give us an inch of excuse not to stand on that line for 6 to 8 hours to go vote. Not an inch. If you give black and brown people, us, an excuse to not show up, they won't show up.
So that's my point.
So this is dangerous territory when my brother, P. Diddy, my brother, because he's my brother and I love him, and I love you too, start talking about, I don't know, the black vote ain't for sale. And listen, bro, it's a couple of months. It's Trump, it's Biden.
Listen, I don't like that. I don't like that mentality. The reason I don't like that mentality is this. Think about all of the corporate lobbyists or the young progressives who were voting for, who wanted to go with Sanders, or the corporate lobbyists who had faith in another candidate. Once their person is out, they're coming to Joe now asking for demands. They're coming to Vice President Biden asking for demands in return for their votes. There were 7 young progressive groups who all were going to support Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. When those candidates were out, they wrote a letter to Joe Biden. You can look it up. And they said, we're not voting for you in November unless you do X, Y, and Z. AOC, who you've had on the Joker show, AOC said, I'm voting for whoever the Democratic nominee is, so it's Biden, but I can't go out there and endorse him unless he makes some policy commitments to my people. I don't see why when black people do that, everybody got a problem.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying the timing, this is a very dangerous, and every time somebody comes up for presidential election, they say, this is the most important. No, this is the most important one.
So if it's important, they got
this is the most important one, because if Trump would have took COVID serious, maybe, and I'm not saying it's good, maybe 10,000 people would have died. There's countries that don't come nowhere close to us. Because this man was trying to save the stock market, there's over 100,000 people dead. This is a very dangerous.
Very, very, very true. And, you see the impact that coronavirus is having on the black community. Like, if there wasn't this thing called systemic racism that left the black community so vulnerable to have all these underlying conditions, coronavirus may not have had the impact that it had. If we had access to better health care, if we had access to better food. So we can't sit here and act like Donald Trump created that. Donald Trump is just the symptom. White supremacy is the disease. Donald Trump's just a new old white man to me. That's a new old cracker to me. We've seen 100 different versions
of the same
white devil.
So the way you saying this is that you saying, man, we fucked them, because if you look at the Congress, you look at the Senate, you look at the presidency, it's not like it's going to be black and brown presidents running through this motherfucker.
But
we got to deal with the old white man no matter what.
But all of that is up for grabs, though. It's like 6 pivotal Senate seats up for grabs. You got my man Jamie Harrison in South Carolina. He's a brother. I saw some polls today that said he's tied with Lindsey Graham. Like, we can switch a Senate seat there. Like it's a lot of different things that can be done. That's why even now we're asking Joe Biden to have a black woman vice president, a black woman running mate. There's 3 sisters out there that are very qualified. 4: Stacey Abrams, Keisha Lance Bottoms, Senator Harris, Val Demings of Florida. Think about it. A week ago, Joe Biden said he said Amy Klobuchar was grade A. They were vetting her. It was looking like, oh damn, she might be his running mate. Now this week, what do we find out? Amy Klobuchar let off over 24 officers in Minneapolis, including the guy that killed the brother, and that same cop killed another black man in 2006. So
he's just being nice. He ain't picking no Amy. He's picking Stacey Abrams. Or if we have a miracle on 34th Street, Michelle Obama. I know she don't want no parts of that White House, to me it's Stacey Abrams, Michelle Obama, if we have a miracle on 34th Street.
Michelle, it's not going to be Michelle.
It's not.
that ain't happening. Michelle don't want no parts of the White House.
She don't.
Nah, she don't want that. I mean, all her people say that. You've heard Val Jennings has said that. Susan Rice has said that. That's not happening.
Let me ask you a question. Because we got to look at the context. Joe Biden stood next to Barack Obama. Barack Obama was a very unknown politician. Joe Biden was in there for years. Stood by his side. There was definitely older white guys looking at him like he's crazy. And in fact, Donald Trump dodged even joining the military, and Joe Biden lost his son for this country. I'm just giving you he's been around black people his whole life. But I see you a little deeper with it because my answer is he's not a racist. Your answer is I don't know, Joe. So I understand.
Well, I'm just saying he's implemented policies that have actually absolutely disproportionately affected black and brown people. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit here and go so far and say that the man is a racist because I don't.
What I'm trying to say is when he says you ain't black if you vote for Trump. Well, are you black if you vote for Trump?
Yes.
How do you figure?
Because if I leave this house, a racist ass cracker cop like the one in Minnesota don't know if I'm a Trump supporter unless I got the MAGA hat on. All he sees is my black skin. So yes, he would treat me the same freaking way just because I'm a black person. So whether or not those people who support Trump and vote for Trump that are black know that they're black, they are definitely black. And America will always remind you that you are indeed a nigga.
I agree with that, but I'm saying you do understand the context in which Joe Biden was trying to tell you. He was a little bit comfortable on your show, right? And you know as a journalist, if somebody you ain't forced him to say that, but if he stumbles across that, you viral, it's the biggest story in the world, they're talking about you everywhere. But this is scary. This is scary because if people get up and don't say, yo, listen, man, we can't play. We got two guys. We got Joe Biden, we got Trump. So when he might have been too comfortable with you when he said that, but you do realize he wasn't saying that in a racist way, right?
Yeah, I don't think he was being racist at all. I think he was doing what a lot of those old white politicians normally do, and that's taking the black vote for granted, taking the black vote as a joke. He said it. He said, "Yo, I was being too cavalier." Why you cavalier with black people? You wouldn't be cavalier with them corporate lobbyists that's funding your campaign. You wouldn't be cavalier with Jewish people. So why you so cavalier with black folks? That's all I'm saying. Like, yo, he just needs to stop taking black people for granted. Democrats as a whole need to stop taking black people for granted. And all we're asking for, Joe, is policy commitments. That's it. Yes, we want him to have a black woman running mate. He already committed to have a black woman on the Supreme Court, but he needs to commit to an economic black agenda for our community. Like, we see all these riots and stuff going on. You know why this is happening? It's happening because motherfuckers been out of work for the past couple of months, the past few months. They can't keep no food on the table. They at the end of their rope. They at their wits' end. So, of course, they're going to react the way that they're reacting right now. Like, this isn't a time where it's like, oh, everybody's, prospering and thriving. When people are prospering and thriving, you upset, but you're not upset like you are right now. And I just don't understand how America didn't understand we were getting to that tipping point. So now, being that we have a system of white supremacy that white people have never, ever atoned for, the original sin of America was slavery that has led to all of these underlying conditions now they've never atoned for. Why can't a white person or old white politician stand up and say, I want to right some of those wrongs? Simple as that.
I agree with that concept. I'm just telling you that I think he'll do it. And I think this is not the time to give anybody any way out. Because we got to go vote like if Obama was going for president.
They're always telling black people it's not the time. When will be the time then? I want to know. Like if the time isn't when, black people are getting killed in the street, buildings are on fire.
How do you feel the day Donald Trump got elected?
I was sick. I went to the Jacob Javits Center with my daughter, my oldest daughter, thinking we was about to see the first female president get crowned. You know what I'm saying? So the next day I was sick, and then the day after that I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's any hope for optimism whatsoever. Because you want to wish the best for the country, right? You don't want the country to go to shit. But literally everything that could have possibly gone wrong has gone wrong with Donald Trump. It is as bad or worse as everybody thought it was going to be.
Now let me ask you something. As bad as it's been, this man's still trying somehow to get elected for a second time. How bad do you think it'll be if he gets elected a second time? And that's it. He got the second time. What type of shit you think he'll do? Donald Trump.
I agree, but doesn't it come a point where people got to stop voting out of fear? Because once again, Joe, all we're asking for is policy commitments. How hard is it for somebody like Joe Biden? How hard is it for Joe Biden to simply say, look, I want to create an economic justice plan for Black America? He could do it all under the guise of coronavirus. Coronavirus has impacted the Black community in the worst way. All because of those underlying conditions of systemic racism. How hard is it for him just to stand up and be like, it's time for America to atone for its original sin? But Black people have always been there for Democrats. It's time for Democrats to be there for Black people. How hard is it to do that?
Martin Luther King said, riots are the voice of the unheard. I don't condone burning down a community. I've never have. Right? I understand the pain. I understand the passion. I've never condoned burning down our own community because when the shit is over, we got to burn down Target. We got to burn down businesses and everything. But I understand the pain. And George Floyd, he just got killed on camera. Do you know how many people done been killed in our lifetimes that wasn't on camera? And I believe now's the time. Just like you speaking, I believe now with this is the time. And this is the first time, because I've watched many of people die, whoever you name. I never seen one cop come on social media and say, yo, you know what? That's fucked up. They killed him. That was murder. I've never in my lifetime, Fat Joe, seen that. With this murder right here, I've seen so many police officers come out and say that's wrong. They killed him. That's murder. They killed him. Do you think we finally hit that point to where we're going to get laws changed in our favor and actually take a lot of these police, because the main thing is these police officers, they think they're holier than thou. They hide behind a badge and they're able to kill anybody. Because that white guy who killed George, he had no look of fear in his face.
Yeah, because he's done it before.
Violence,
yeah,
not a violence, nor camera, no nothing. He knows, they just don't convict cops for killing people. And
he shot a brother and killed him.
I'm going to kill him in front of you.
Yeah, he killed the brother in 2006. He shot and killed the brother in 2006 and has shot multiple civilians while in uniform. That is a fact.
How do you shoot people? How do you fucking shoot people on a daily basis? How do you
I'll tell you this though, even when it comes to the looting, we don't own that goddamn Target. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we burning down our own shit. It's not like we burning down our own shit.
Yeah, but the Target got insurance, but in 2 weeks, your shit look like a battle zone, and your shit and you fucked. You ain't got no businesses around. That's all I'm saying, right? My father, he would come home from drinking a lot when we was kids, and he'd be so mad he lost his money gambling. He come break the only TV we got. And when I was a little kid, I remember being 6, 7 years old, being like, yo, my pops is stupid. He got to buy a new TV now. We need TV. So
I can't care more about the Target than I care about Black people being a target.
That's a fact.
Let the Target burn, let the police precinct burn, because that is absolutely what I think is supposed to happen right now. I think the first law of nature is self-preservation. And I think that, it's just a bunch of people out here just simply trying to survive. And I think that's just their way of trying to survive. Even when you talk about the looting, it's two ways to look at it, right? What if you needed groceries? What if you couldn't afford groceries the past few months? Of course you're going to run up in the store and steal groceries. But, man, as a Black person, sometimes you just want some joy. So if stealing that goddamn TV and taking it home and hanging up in your fucking house make you feel some joy, you deserve that, brother. Shit, this country ain't giving us shit else. They owe us anyway. They owe us reparations for slavery, for the war on drugs. Fuck it. Take it. Take the goddamn flat screen. Enjoy, my brothers. Enjoy, sister.
You calling it a stimulus plan?
Listen. I have no problem with what they're doing in Minnesota and Minneapolis whatsoever.
I would have took the shit too. I don't condone it, but if I was there and I was a young cat and I ain't had no money, I'd have ran into Target too. I ain't gonna lie. I don't condone it. I don't believe in fucking up our own hood, but I would have took it too. I ain't. You know,
that ain't our Target. If that was a mom and pop black owned business, I'd be like, okay, why are we doing that? We don't own that AutoZone. We don't own that Target, man. Listen, I hope that there's some people in Minneapolis when that curfew kicks in. I think the curfew kicks in at 8 o'clock their time.
Yeah.
When that curfew kicks in, I hope they got a nice big flat screen to watch tonight, courtesy of Target.
So you get the tweets in the morning that says, so we're waiting for some compassionate speech. We're waiting for, I'm behind this. I see our people are upset at the killing. We're going to bring justice to light. And your man says, when they start the loot, we start the shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, words are very powerful.
I think with Trump, man, like when people show you who they are, believe them. Like there's nothing anybody can convince you of when it comes to Donald Trump. He is a white devil. He is the epitome of a cracker-ass cracker. He don't care about nothing but himself. He don't care about nothing but himself. So I don't expect anything of him. I really don't. And by the way, even when people talk about he's a terrible president, yeah, that's what happens when you make the executive producer a celebrity apprentice, the president of the United States of America. Joe, would you let me fly your plane?
Hell no.
All right.
Hell no.
All right. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm trying to tell you is, so I'm saying we don't have the choice. We have Joe Biden. We have Trump. That's all I'm trying to say is, and if we dilute it and we give anybody an opportunity to say, yo, you know what, I want that line too long.